All right, guys, so there's a couple of questions that I skipped on the practice test, so this video is for those questions. As we read right here, it says the difference. What does difference mean? Difference means subtraction. So we're going to have a subtraction sign. And the difference of what? Well, we're talking about the difference of 2 times a number and 9. So you're going to put 2 times a number first. So how do we write that? We put 2 times a number, or 2 times x, 2 times n. Well, actually, in this case, they use n's, right? And then minus 9, right? So the minus and the 9, that's your answer right there, which is 2x minus 9. In this case, 2n minus 9. That's why this dot is green. The rest of them are red. Anyway, yeah, so let's understand that. Difference means subtraction, and there is no switch. It just says the difference of something and something. So if I said the difference of 5 and 3, you're just going to say 5 take away 3. Right here it says the difference of 2 times a number, that's 2x, in this case 2n. Sorry about that, let's actually put an n right there. 2n and 9, so n 9. So the difference of 2n and 9 is really 2n minus 9. Let's move on. On this question, it says 3 less than the product. Okay, so let's first start with less than, okay? When we think of the words less than, we already know less means minus, but with the word than with it, less than implies a switch in order. Let's think about something real instead of 3 less than the product of 9 and s. Let's say 3 less than your age. Are you really going to say 3 minus 14? No, you're going to put 14 first minus your age. So the words less than implies subtraction and a switch in order, okay? So this implies subtraction and a switch in order. So instead of 3 being first, 3 is going to be at the end. Okay, so let's write a minus sign. I'm just going to draw a minus sign up here. And the 3, this 3 right here, we're going to put second because less than implies a switch in order. And so instead of 3 minus, it's going to be minus 3 at the very end, minus 3 at the very end. So what belongs in the front over here? Well, it says 3 less than what? Less than the product of 9 and s. So I hope we remember that product means multiply, okay? So what are we multiplying? We're multiplying 9 and s. So the multiplication of 9 and s is going to go first up here in the front, and the 3 is going to go second over here in the back. And of course, less than is the minus sign. So the product, the multiplication of 9 and s, what is that? That is 9 times s. Now you don't need the multiplication dot, that's just simply 9s minus 3. And that is right here, 9s minus 3. That's your correct answer. All of the other ones are incorrect, as you see right there. Let's move on. This question is a simple distributive property question, right? We have parentheses with the multiplication of 2 on the outside. We're going to distribute that multiplication. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2y is 4y, and it is positive. And 2 times negative 3, that is a negative 6. So we put a minus 6 right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our answer. 2x plus 4y minus 6. You can't really combine any of those terms because they're not alike. Let's take a look at this equation that has a bunch of fractions in it. Okay, well, you could do this 2 different ways. So I will do it 2 different ways here. Let's do it the first way by getting rid of 1 fraction at a time. Okay, so like let's say you decided to get rid of the 2, for example, okay? How do you get rid of the, well actually not the 2, but the fraction 1/2. To get rid of a fraction, you have to multiply everything by the denominator of the fraction you want to get rid of. So you'd have to multiply by 2 here, which would cancel out. Multiply by 2 here, multiply by 2 here. Obviously the 2 will not cancel with the 3, so you actually have to multiply 2 times 2 and get 4 up on top. So your equal sign here, 4 is up on top, still have 3 on the bottom. Now over here you could multiply 6 over and have 6 over 4 and then reduce 6 over 4 by 2. Or you could reduce 2 over 4 and it'll become 1/2. It's totally up to you. Or you could just leave it like that if you wanted to. You could just say 2 times 3 is 6 and keep it over 4. I would actually reduce this to 3/2, but you could leave it like that if you want. So we have a minus sign right in front of it, and obviously we don't have a fraction anymore. That's simply a 1x over here, or just an x. Okay, let's get rid of the next fraction. Maybe you want to get rid of that 4. You'd have to multiply everything by 4. This times 4, this times 4, this times 4. The 4's do cancel. The first term is now 4x. The next term is a minus 6 equaling, and over here the 4 and the 3 do not cancel. So that's really 4 times 4, which is 16, and it's still over 3. Okay. Last but not least, let's get rid of this fraction by multiplying everything by 3. So this times 3, this times 3, this times 3. That becomes 12x. This becomes 18. These 3's cancel, equals 16. So now we finally have an equation without any fractions, and now we could get x by itself. We could solve to get x by itself. So let's get rid of the 18 first. Remember, x is what's important. 12's with the x, kind of important. This minus 18 is all by itself. Always get rid of that constant first, because it's really easy to. How do you get rid of that minus 18? By doing the opposite, plus 18. What you do to one side, do to the other side, plus 18. What we have here is 12x equaling 34. Okay. And final step would be to get rid of the multiplication of 12 right in front of the x. So you divide by 12, divide by 12. That will give you x equals, and you can't really, if it were 36 divided by 12, the answer would be 3. So you can't really do that, but you could at least reduce both top and bottom by 2 at the very least, right? If you reduce by 2, that'll give you a 17 over 6. So you could leave it as an improper fraction, 17 over 6. So another way of doing it, the faster way of doing it, is to look at all of your denominators, the 2, the 4, the 3, and come up with the LCD. All right, the LCD of 2, 4, and 3 is actually 12. Okay, all those numbers could be changed to 12. So if you multiply all of those fractions by 12 times 12 times 12, it'll actually get rid of all fractions at the same time. Let's actually do this. 12 divided by 2, that is 6. So if you had 6 times 1x, that just becomes 6x. 12 divided by 4, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9, so you'd have a minus 9 right here. Or the other way of doing it would be to actually multiply 12 times 3, that's 36, and then 36 divided by 4 is 9, so you again have the minus sign and 9. It doesn't matter which way you do it. What do I mean by that? You could divide first and then multiply, or you could multiply first then divide. Multiplication and division are worth the same when it comes to PEMDAS. So anyway, over here we have 12 times 2, that's 24 divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Or again, you could have said 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 4 times 2 is that same answer, 8. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how you could get rid of all fractions at the same time by thinking of the LCD and multiplying by the LCD. So if you're not good at thinking of the LCD, then go ahead and just worry about one step at a time, getting rid of one fraction at a time. But this is a lot faster. Now let's continue to solve just to verify that we get the same answer. We're going to add 9. That will become 6x equals 17. How do you get rid of the multiplication of 6? You divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 17 over 6. Same answer as down here, 17 over 6. Alrighty guys, let's move on. Whenever you're faced with solving an equation that looks pretty complicated like this one, I say focus in one side at a time and simplify. Okay, so let's ignore the right side for now, and let's just focus in on the left side. How do I simplify that left side? What does simplify mean? It means distributive property and combining like terms. So distribute this 3. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And of course, bring down the plus 6. So you've distributed, after distributive property, which is really multiplication, you got to combine like terms, which is really adding and subtracting. So out of these 3 terms, what could we combine the numbers with the numbers? So I really have a negative 12 plus 6. So the 3x, you can't really combine it, but the negative 12 plus 6, that's a negative 6. And that's your simplified left side of the equation. There's nothing else you could do there. So now that we've simplified the left side, let's simplify the right side. On the right side, we need to distribute a fraction. Now, don't get scared. Distributing a fraction, it's pretty easy, especially because you're multiplying. Multiplying fractions is easy. 1/2 times x is exactly that, 1/2 x. And then 1/2 times negative 4. If you wanted to show that work over here on the side, it's pretty simple. Down here, 1/2 times -4. Well, put that -4 over a 1, and you can multiply the top with the top and the bottom with the bottom. Obviously, 1 times -4, that is -4, and 2 times 1 on the bottom is 2. So what we really end up with is a -2. Okay, this is the work that we had to do when we distributed the 1/2 times the -4, and we got out -2. So let's put a -2 right there. Okay, let me put a line here so we don't get confused. Anyway, we need to bring down this -6. So we bring that down, -6. Now we have distributed, now we need to combine like terms. Of course, you could combine the numbers with the numbers. -2 minus 6 is -8. Okay, so we have a -8 right there. This and this gives us a -8. And then bring down the 1/2 x. So this is the simplified right side of the equation. So what we really have here is 3x minus 6 equals 1/2 x minus 8. Let me actually write that over here, equals 1/2 x minus 8. Let me erase this. No, I can't erase it. So this red equation is our new simplified equation. Now you do want to get x by itself on one side. So you could get rid of this. Let's say this fraction confuses you. You could get rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by 2. Or you could say like, hey, wait a minute, I have a number here and a number there. It's really easy to move the numbers to that side. All I have to do is add 6. So if you add 6 here and add 6 over here, you're going to have a new equation that reads 3x equals 1/2 x minus 2. Okay, so let's get rid of that 1/2. So let's continue on here. I try to erase this, I apologize. So continuing on, we want to get rid of that fraction 1/2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply everything by 2. This times 2, this times 2, this times 2. So on the left side we have a 6x, and we have the 2's that cancel out, which gives us a simple 1x, and we have a -2 times 2, which is -4. Now, last but not least, let's get rid of that 1x by subtracting 1x and subtracting 1x. That'll give us a 5x on the left side equaling a -4 on the right side. Final step will be to get rid of the multiplication of 5 by dividing by 5 and dividing by 5, giving us the answer x equals -4/5.